Hi everyone, in this video we're going to review the new L'Oreal Cushion Foundation from their Infallible line. I'm very excited about this. Remember to always look in the description box for where you can purchase this, and I also link it in the video somewhere. I will not only apply this with you in real time, but I will also wear it throughout a full day and give you my thoughts and check in with you to see how it wears. Thank you so much for being a subscriber to the channel. If you aren't already, please hit that subscribe button, and you can also follow over on Instagram. I will link the latest video that you may have missed in the upper right-hand corner for you to go check out if you haven't seen it already. All right, so we definitely have some things that we need to cover up. So it'll be a very good test of how this foundation functions. Let's first look at the claims. Oh, before we look at the claims, this retails for about $20. Right now it looks like it's at Ulta, and you get 0.38 ounces or 11 grams of product. There are about 20 shades total. In terms of the claims, L'Oreal says this gives you filter-like skin. It is supposed to provide soft matte coverage that feels weightless and lasts up to 24 hours. It's the performance of a liquid that is convenient in the form of a compact. It has a soft matte buildable coverage that is supposed to be transfer resistant, waterproof, and sweat resistant. The formulation is inspired by K-Beauty. L'Oreal describes this as an innovative formulation that is supposed to feel weightless like a BB cream. Here is a look at the full ingredients list, and I do not see any sort of fragrance or perfume type ingredients added to it. All right, let's get to testing and applying. Before I apply foundation, I'm showing you 3 new products in my skincare routine that have been sent very kindly by Murad. So these 2 products, which I use in the morning, are going to be from their Environmental Shield line. This first product is the Rapid Dark Spot Correcting Serum. Pump dispenser, comes out in a clear gel. It will help target dark spots and encourage cell turnover. It includes glycolic acid and also the antioxidant resorcinol. It has a gel texture, but it's super lightweight without any of that sticky quality that sometimes purely gel formulations have on the skin. Using ingredients like glycolic acid has become even more important for me because as my skin ages and the sun exposure that I've experienced has accumulated over the many years, I am noticing much more distinct pigmentation, hyperpigmentation, and sunspots on my skin. You can see them on the top of my cheeks and around the eye orbital bone area. So products like this are a regular part of my skincare routine. And especially when you are using ingredients like glycolic acid, you have to have quality sun protection. You should always wear sunscreen anyway, but it is even more important to make sure that you have quality products when you are also using those kinds of ingredients. This is the Super Active Moisture SPF 50 Brightening. So this has stabilized vitamin C and a PA++++ rating. I love the squeeze packaging because it's very travel friendly and lightweight. The active sunscreen ingredients in this are avobenzone, homosalate, octisalate, and octocrylene, so it's a chemical sunscreen. And the stabilized form of vitamin C is 3-O-ethyl ascorbic acid. Now, I know what some of you are going to think. You're going to think, I don't think I should be combining glycolic acid with ascorbic acid. Well, first, this is a more stabilized version of vitamin C in this product, but my suggestion is that you wait some time after you apply your glycolic acid product, maybe 15 minutes or so, before you apply your sunscreen. And in fact, combining these 2 ingredients in the same morning routine can really give you this duo powerhouse because that glycolic acid is going to help brighten and even skin tone. And then the vitamin C also helps to give you that radiance in your skin and also to, of course, protect it along with the boosting effects of your sun care. But if you do have sensitive skin and you are worried about that, you can try the other Environmental Shield sunscreen from Murad. They did not ask me to show this in this video, but I have been using this very consistently during the summer, and I think it's also a fantastic product. So this one does not contain vitamin C. It is also a mineral sunscreen, and this has the most beautiful mattifying finish that I've ever experienced in a sunscreen without that dimethicone feel. There are a lot of great mattifying sunscreens out on the market, but I have found that they all have that slick from the dimethicone that I find a little bit excessive sometimes. This one has that matte effect without that feeling in that finish. I've loved using this. I use this pretty much every morning nowadays for the past month or so. But going back to the super active moisturizer version with vitamin C, I am going to use this as my final step in my skincare routine. Easy pump dispensing. This is the amount that I will use just for my face and some additional for my neck. It is super lightweight feeling. This has a more hydrated finish than the City Shield one that I showed you as an alternative. And it does have a slightly more glowy finish, although I would not at all describe it as having an actual shimmer or glow. Both of these work very nicely under makeup, which we'll see in a few moments. And then lastly, I wanted to show you for the nighttime portion of my routine using the Retinol Youth Renewal Serum. This is from their Resurgence line. Same fantastic pump packaging. Now, because I use this in the nighttime routine, I'll show you footage from a different time period. This in particular has 4 different kinds of retinoids included in it. And as we all know by now, probably retinoids are one of the key leading ingredients to help with multiple signs of aging. All right, so as you can tell, I have this lovely, ginormous pimple on my chin that it's gonna take many weeks for that to disappear, but let's have, as part of our experience in testing, seeing how well it covers that very obvious blemish. So here is the packaging. It's quite a thick plastic compact. You have the mirror inside and the cushion. It is kind of teardrop shaped. And if you've used any sort of cushion foundations from Asian beauty brands before, you will know the texture of this. It is not your otherwise typical American style, like fuzzy kind of, what is this called? Cushion applicator. Then this portion opens sort of like a window. This says always reseal the inner cap to keep the formula fresh. I think they mean this black window. I can't imagine that they mean that you have to keep this piece. And per the instructions, we're just gonna tap into the compact. That's what it looks like on it's a fantastic color match. I have the shade 127 Neutral. I had a little bit of a hard time confidently choosing the shade, but B, pretty good job covering up that blemish. I'm definitely gonna go back in and spot conceal it, but in terms of really dampening down how much of an eyesore that pimple is right now, it's doing a pretty good job. You know, having experience with some of the very old school versions of these kinds of compact foundations, I think way before Korean beauty and Asian beauty were popular on the scene. So when like American brands were doing this kind of thing, and how usually inelegant it was, it always astounds me when you can so easily and simply apply these new generation formulations and get such a seamless freaking finish. Because I'm just used to it looking cakey, uneven. One thing I always mention is sanitize these, because I think part of the reason why it applies so beautifully and seamlessly is not purely the new generation formulation of the foundation itself. It is also because of the way these applicators function. And the reason I say that is because when I did my video reviewing and testing the L'Oreal Tinted Balm infused with hyaluronic acid, this line of face products, it's not the same formulation, obviously. It's a balm formulation as opposed to more of like a liquid formulation. It's just a different product, but it has the same kind of applicator, and the experience that I had in applying, using, and testing that is very similar to this, which is I am wonderfully surprised how beautifully and seamless the finish is when you use this kind of applicator with these foundations or face products. So I kind of went all over my forehead, but in terms of the cheek area, I have only done this side. I did do my whole chin area, but you can kind of compare the coverage on this side to this side. You can tell it's a little darker overall than my skin tone, which is fine, but you can see I would call this like medium coverage right now, but I can build up a second layer to build up that coverage. I'm so tickled with the new advanced, I would characterize it as, formulations. All right, so beautiful, smooth finish. You know, when you're in a position of growing older, as we all are, but when you are like me and your skin, you know, shows more signs of unevenness and age, it's so nice to have a product that is so easy to get flattering results from. I am so enamored. The one thing I will say is when you have something raised like this pimple that I have here, I feel like you have to be more particular about if you're trying to cover it with layering, by layering the product, because it kind of removes, sometimes instead of building the coverage, it kind of removes the layer underneath. But I think that's more given the texture of the surface of the blemish, because on all other parts of the face, you can easily layer the product to increase the coverage. Honestly, my thoughts are very similar to my thoughts with the balm version, just with a lot more coverage. The finish, and I'll link the video for this in the upper right hand corner, make sure you go check that out if this is something that you want for truly that kind of like no makeup coverage type of finish. But the similarities, other than the intensity of the coverage, are the ease of application, the seemingly smoothest, most skin-like finish that you get on the surface. There's just like no patchiness, no clumpiness, no powdery look to it. Amazing. Love the application, love the coverage, love the look of the product. And there's an up close look. All right, I'm gonna go do the rest of the makeup and come back and let you see what the finish is like. All right, there is the finished look. Kept it simple so we can focus on the skin. I will go in and spot conceal this with powder, but I wanted you to see what it looks like after I put on translucent kind of setting powder. So again, there's the skin up close, very smooth. Again, no clumping or bad interactions with the loose powder that I set with. And today's going to be a very long day, so I will be checking in well over it's probably close to 12 hours at the point where I will be checking in by the end of the day, so we can see how this wears. It has been 13 hours of wearing this foundation, and I have done zero to touch it up. On a regular day, even with my best foundations, I will blot at least once or twice throughout the day. I did not do that today. Compared to the level of shine that I get throughout a full day of wear, even with my favorite foundations, this has kept the shininess and oiliness at bay so nicely. Obviously, I do have a little bit of shine that has developed, but given that I have not blotted at all or touched up at all, the mattifying effect of this foundation while still maintaining a super skin-like natural finish, this foundation is an A+, hands down in my book. Here's what it looks like up close. There's a little bit of texture right around where I put extra concealer and extra powder to cover up this blemish, but compared to everywhere else where I didn't put on extra layers of powder, it has not developed any texture or extra texture or broken up or anything like that. A little bit of fading of the coverage around this area of the face, but I am so wonderfully impressed by this foundation. 100% recommend. I think it's versatile for all different kinds of skin types because it gives you a natural finish and maintains that natural finish even when you have combination oily skin, but it's also not drying. So if you have normal dry skin, I think that this would not cause you any sort of issues. I also agree that it felt lightweight for the day. I didn't feel greasy or like I had a layer of product on my skin, and I found it very easy to apply and use. So 100% recommend. Please let me know if you've already tested this out, what your experience has been and what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, I will try my best to answer them in the comment section below. I really hope this was helpful to you, and I always appreciate you taking the time to watch. I'll see you in the next video.